Jason here from Bohemia Bees. I want to talk a little bit about bee syrup. I know there's a lot of angst in the bee online forums about what the proper mixture is. It's really very simple. What I typically have found that to get the proper ratio for winter feeding is 2 4-pound bags or 8 pounds of pure cane granulated sugar for every half gallon of water. Again, 2 to 1, 2 to 1. If it's 1 to 1, you would take a 4-pound bag of sugar to 1/2 gallon of water. If you're happening to make a larger one, you would just naturally double that. If you're going to make a bigger batch, if you're going to use gallons, whatever you're planning on using. But that keeps it pretty simple. Again, 2 to 1/2 gallon or 1 to 1/2 gallon if it was a spring feed. Very simply how we put it together, we pour the water into our boiling pot, or a pot that's starting to boil. We drop a tea bag in. The tea bag is natural chamomile, pure chamomile. It really gives it the nectar flavor. And then we add a bag or a tea bag in, 1 for each half gallon. So if we have 3 half gallons in here, we put 3 tea bags. We'll let that come to a rolling boil. Then we'll turn it off, remove the tea bags, and stir in our sugar. One other thing that we typically do at the very end is, after we're letting it cool, we're going to put a capful, a single capful of apple cider vinegar. And I do a capful typically for probably for every gallon or 2. So if it's more than 2 or 3 gallons, you might want to put another capful in. And really that just helps kind of balance the alkalinity and acidity within the syrup, and helps the bees to take it. I've heard also that others put different types of oils, whether it's a peppermint oil, or spearmint oil, lemongrass, also in their mixtures. I don't necessarily do that. I don't think that it's necessary, but it's very good to help with some of the mite control strategies that are out there, and some of the other things like nosema to help try to prevent against that. But that's how we do it here at Bohemia April. We try to keep it very simple, uncomplicated. Again, if you're going to make a 2 to 1 mixture, 2 4-pound bags of sugar for a half gallon of water. If you're going to make a spring mixture, it's going to be 1 4-pound bag of pure cane sugar to a half gallon of water. And that's how we do it. So let's we'll get this started, and we'll feed the bees a little bit and go from there. If you got any questions? Okay, so we have our bee syrup ready. You can see it's pretty thick. This is, again, 2 to 1. And we will use this to feed our bees. The best way I find to ensure that it mixes well is to stir as you're pouring the dry sugar in, and continue to have the flame on your pot while you're adding the sugar. And the minute you stop stirring, or you start stirring and you've added all your bags of sugar, you can turn that flame off and let it cool. You do not want it to boil. You do not want to burn the syrup. You do not want to burn the sugar, as that's toxic to bees. So that's how we make bee syrup here in the Bohemia Apiary. Again, we only feed this to them when the supers are removed. We don't feed syrup once the honey supers are on in the spring. There's plenty of nectar for the bees to in the spring to help build those supers out. This will only be stored in their brood box for the winter, and help to bolster their stores if their stores are a little light as they go into the winter. So anything we can do at the Bohemia Apiary to help our bees in the most environmentally and sustainable way, we like to do it. Thanks for watching, and again, happy beekeeping.